YouTube, what's going on, guys? Thank you guys for coming to another video. I hope everybody's doing all right, man. I've been home during this whole quarantine, trying to make the best of my time, spending time with family, and just staying positive. But before we started this video, I wanted to announce and let you guys know that tomorrow night, April 6th at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time, my friend Greg, who's a business consultant, and myself will be going live to share with you guys some strategies to help organize your business, plan for this bounce back, and manage your money so that you can be prepared the next time something crazy like this happens in the future. I know a lot of us are looking for things to do aside from Netflix. And so with that being said, there'll be a link in the description below where you can save your spot for that webinar tomorrow night, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. That's April 6th, tomorrow night on Monday. Now let's get started with this video. YouTube, what's going on? Listen, guys, I'm sick on this one, man, because a lot of it got cut out in the beginning, just the beginning portion, right? But at least you get to see the lineup in the back, the initial guideline, and this is how we're gonna put the design. Now, he showed me a picture of something that he wanted, and he kind of explained a little bit more in depth how he wanted the total look. So I'm doing the best I can to replicate the same thing he showed me in the picture and add my flavor to it. So he didn't want the back lined up. He didn't want the back tapered out. He wanted it lined up. So that's the first thing we did. I showed it to him, and then I said, okay, cool, now we have a canvas where we can place this little design or part, whatever you want to call it. And so I'm taking my time lining up the top part of the line, but I'm also making sure that I can make it thicker in certain parts of the line as well, just to add a little bit of pop, a little bit of flavor. And so if you notice, I kept it a little narrow towards the end, and now I'm gonna go ahead and widen it out towards the beginning. And we're gonna incorporate this line to kind of stop into the side taper, the high taper we're gonna do on the sides. And shout out to my cousin, this beat is crazy. If you guys want more beats, man, there's a link in the description. You can check out all my cousin's beats. Alright, so let's go ahead and start the taper process. You see the initial guideline. We're gonna start off with the shaver and make sure it's as tight as possible. Alright, from here we're gonna grab our custom FXs, and I'm gonna open the blade all the way up. You can follow along with the color guide on the bottom left corner, so just to make sure you don't get lost. Alright, my next step is gonna be my number 1 guard open. And then my next step is my number 2 guard, and I always start off open just in case. And we're just gonna make sure it's blending into the side, and so now we know we can either blend down from this point or we can blend up. But at least we know we're fading into a number 2 open. It's good to have a system in place like that, so you know your start and your finish. You know your starting point, and you know your end goal. That's how you're supposed to operate in general, right? So it's really good to know these things, and it's gonna help you stay consistent. So the next time he sits in your chair, you just follow the same steps. So we're gonna fade down. My next guard down is my 1.5 guard. So I'm gonna start off open and close it as needed. And if you notice, that guideline is already gone. If by accident I create a little bit of a line, you can just hop back to that number 2 guard and go up a little bit higher, just to make sure that that transition is there. So once that part is done, we can move on to that number 1 guard open and close it as needed. You can see I closed it just now, and this should do a lot of the work as far as taking out this guideline we created before we even started the process. If it doesn't come out, then that's all right. We just go to the next guard down, which is the half guard, and you'll see when I put it on, it's gonna be that green guard, especially if you're following along with the color guide on the bottom left corner, guys. And here's that green half guard. And you can see the way that I'm blending it. I'm blending it pretty high, but I'm also blending it at an angle towards kind of like the crown of his head. All right. And that's going to allow that blend to kind of flow into what we did in the back here. All right, so at this point we've blended pretty much all of it, and now we just have the bottom to blend out. So we take our guard off, the blade is all the way open, and we close it as needed as we fade down until that bottom line is gone. You may need to grab that trimmer just to get the bottom line out a little bit more, but overall most of the blend should be done. This should be the last step, and then after that you line it up and you detail. I love detailing. Detailing to me is what brings your cuts to the next level, so I love being able to spend a bunch of time just doing detailing. So at this point I'm just gonna go ahead and blend his beard in, and we're really pretty much doing the same steps. You're just going the opposite direction, right? So from the bottom up you're fading from the highest guard to the lowest settings. And since I got my trimmer, we can go ahead and start to line him up, but also buff out that bottom line. Remember guys, this is the rough draft. We're gonna get this to the next level, I promise. So stick with me in this video, and smash the like button if you haven't already.
Tito, let's get it.
All right, so this is something he wanted to add to it, and he just wanted this little corner right here, this little beveled area. He wanted to almost do like a burst taper, a burst blend in there. So that's the only thing he wanted in the back. He didn't want the other corner done like this. So we're gonna do a burst taper right beneath that little design, and I feel like it's watch when I'm done with it, it's gonna pop. It's gonna look dope, and it's just something different, a little bit of uniqueness and creativity for your client. And once again, I've already lined him up, so now I can really spend some time detailing. All right, so let's go ahead and start the next side, and I'm gonna shut up and let you guys follow along for a bit with the color guide on the bottom left corner. Let's see if you guys were paying attention on the other side of this cut. I had to come back and just talk about these beats, man. My cousin's killing it. Yo, listen, I know a lot of you guys want to be rappers and you're quarantined right now and you got nothing to do but make some music. So go check out my cousin's beats. Link will be in the description, and buy some beats so you can help him with his finances as well while he ain't working, if he ain't working. It's a win-win, guys. Alright, so on this side, it looked like it needed a little bit more work around the ridge. I haven't touched the top, and I don't think he wanted anything off the top. And so on this side, I did need to hop up to that number 3 guard. And it's weird. I know that one side required a higher guard than the other, but I mean, that's the canvas I had, and I wanted to make sure that it looked good on both sides. So I swapped over to my wall seniors, and these have the Filthy Blends mod on it. So I'm using the master blade a little bit. So I'm kind of going back and forth, and just, I like to do that when I'm detailing. Every now and then I like to swap what clipper I'm using. And at this point, we're detailing, right? He said yes. You see him shake his head? I did not play at that. Alright, so let's go ahead. Let's get this cut to the next level. It doesn't need enhancements, and that's the point. It shouldn't need enhancements, but that enhancement is doing its job. It's enhancing the cut. It's getting it to the next level, and my clients love it. They appreciate it, and all I want to do is give my clients the best that I can, and everything that they want is. And yo, guys, like, maybe that's something, you know, once this quarantine thing is over and we're back in the shop, add it to your arsenal, man. I know you guys are like hungry, dying to get back in the shop. Like, I'm about to put myself back on the schedule. And if you're new to the channel and you don't know about the enhancement system that we're using, you can get it at tomb45.com. The template that you saw me using, that black card to for the overspray, you can get from Sean Cuts Hair on Instagram. He also has a YouTube channel. And I know a lot of you guys ain't shopping right now for good reason, man. You're saving your money, but I want you guys to know, behind the scenes, we are still working. Tomb 45 is still, you know what I'm saying, building the company, and we expect to have compressors and everything in stock once all this craziness is happening. I mean, it's over. And so I'm using the blending shears again in areas that I didn't cut, just to kind of soften it up and get it to flow really nicely into the sides. So at this point, we're gonna go ahead and line up his beard. He wanted to keep the beard natural, and so we're just cleaning it up. And take it easy on my guy in the comment section, okay? Because I got the struggle beard too, so I know what it feels like to struggle through this process, but it'll pay off, bro. It'll pay off. And you see, with the struggle beards, you got to keep it low on the neck area so it looks fuller than it really is. Bro, that blendo thing is... It's like hard to... That blend is like... It's bright. It's almost like it's bright. It's like looking at the sun almost. You guys know what I'm talking about? Let me know in the comment section if you know what I'm talking about. When a blend just pops, it's so blurry, it just pops in your face, like it's just... Alright, so at this point, he didn't want thing off the top, but he did want a more textured look. So I'm just slicing through the hair, just cutting some pieces into the top to kind of help with that texture a little bit. Alright, so at this point, we're going to go ahead and frame his face. And I combed everything down. I blew dry the hair all the way down. And I'm using my shears to get a nice, clean, symmetrical look. Once we're done with this shear work, and you can see how well it's working, we'll clean up any of the flyaways with the trimmers to get a little bit sharper. But I feel like when you do with shears with hair of this texture, it's easier to control the hair and get that nice straight line. So now again, we're gonna touch up any flyaway hairs with the trimmer. Get that thing real nice and sharp and symmetrical. Videos you think are gonna be a hit, they don't hit. So we'll see. Alright, so now one of my favorite parts is we're gonna put the razor on it, get this thing as sharp as possible. And like, especially around the design, you gotta use the razor against the grain, with the grain, to get that in that design to really pop. Look how that little burst is showing out right now. I think that looks dope, man. Let me know in the comments what you think about that little burst underneath the design, because I think it looks dope. Alright, so now we're going to use Tomb 45 pure powder. You can get this at tomb45.com. And we're just going to dust it in the hair, shake it up, and see the ultimate texture come to life, guys. See how the product enhances the cut? So we put texture in with the shears, and then the powder just made it pop. And like, this is something I like to do that I feel like will set you apart, man, is the final touches. To your client, the cut is done, but when he sees you turn him around and checks out his cut, and he still sees you touching it up, man, that makes the experience to the next level. And so you've seen the before, now look at the after, man. Sheesh. Let me know, guys, if you're new to the channel, please do subscribe, smash the like button. We're coming out with heat throughout this whole quarantine because I got videos in the chamber. I'll see y'all in the next video. Love y'all.